Yes? Welcome and good morning. My name is Pat Hart, and I am the lay worship leader this morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Bridgewater. I've been a member here for 11 years. I have served on a few committees, but presently I am in the choir, which I have been in for 11 years. What I like most about First Parish is being part of a community that shares the same thoughts, feelings, and values that I do. First Parish Bridgewater is a welcoming congregation. We proudly fly the rainbow flag to symbolize our welcome to people of every description. We have a dynamic religious education program which takes place in the lower parish hall during worship. If you are new to First Parish, we hope you enjoy the visit with us. We encourage you to sign the guest book at the table in the rear of the sanctuary. If you wish to receive our monthly newsletter, please be sure to include your email address. If you're joining us online, you can request to be put in our mailing list at our website or in the chat. We invite you to join us for coffee, snacks, and conversation in the upper parish hall to your right following the service. Our service this morning is being hosted via Zoom and recorded for Bridgewater Cable TV, but the camera is turned off during the sharing of joys and sorrow. In case of an emergency, please leave the building either through the main sanctuary door or through the School Street exit if you need a ramp. You are welcome here. Thank you for joining us. Your presence, whether in person or online, makes a difference. We do have one announcement. Jenny?
Hi, just an update on the pledge. I'm going to go up on the stage, but I didn't get a mic it was a lot of mic testing this morning. I didn't want to worry about it. So our new number that I'm going to write up there is $93,721. We have certainly widened our circle. And I also just wanted to thank you. I think I've thanked you every week. But if you feel for whatever reason we have not reached out to you with a pledge card and you were willing to pledge, please do so. You know, it's just a piece of paper. You can write it on any piece of paper. We're happy to accept all and final contributions to our church. So I'm going to go up, and I found the biggest circle I could find, and that's going to be where we hold the circle. $93,721.
We will now have our prelude. now have our chalice lighting. We join together, bringing both our shadow and our light. We join together, opening our minds and our hearts. We join together, embracing, celebrating, sharing the beauty of each, the beauty of self, the beauty of earth, the beauty of all. Please rise and let us join together with our voices for the affirmation of our covenant, followed by the singing of the aspiration. Love is the spirit of our church, and service its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
Wary of moving the mic. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Jennifer Johnson. It's my great privilege and pleasure to serve as the minister of First Parish UU here in Bridgewater. I'm going to invite you to deepen into worship with these words from Sharon Wiley entitled Wholeness. We speak so often of brokenness in religious life. Let us speak today of wholeness. You are welcome here, all of you, every part of you beautiful, just the way you are. Here you do not need to be something more or something less. No holding back, no hiding. No exerting yourself, no trying to do more or be more. You have inherent worth and dignity, nothing to prove here, nothing to prove to me or the person sitting next to you or to the children or to anyone. You don't have to try and be witty or more quiet or more outgoing. You are beautiful, every part of you beautiful, just the way you are. You do not need to change anything about yourself to be welcome here. Your skin, your hair, your belly, your limbs, your face, all beautiful, just the way they are. You are extraordinary. Each and every one of you, different from each and beautiful in your own beautiful way. Breathtaking. So let our beautiful selves worship together. And we'll start with singing number 203. In the gray hymnal, we're going to sing the first 4 verses of All Creatures of the Earth and Sky.
Now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and sorrows, for those matters great and small that touch us, our families, and those we love.
Grief is complicated sometimes. Relationships are complicated often. And here we come to hold that complexity with care and compassion, with hope for healing, with love for one another. So let us open our hearts and minds to all that has been shared in joy and sorrow, in word and in silence. On this fine blue sky morning here in Bridgewater, may we take inspiration from the budding leaves and the blooming flowers that brighten this day with new beauty, new hope, new joy. May the seeds of beauty, hope, and joy that have been dormant in our own souls, slowly germinating beneath the surface, break open and sprout upwards. May we nurture the tender new growth of our potential with affection and compassion for ourselves and one another, that each one of us may grow and open and unfold in the warmth of the returning spring light, by the quenching waters of spring's silver rain. Here, among these kind and gentle friends, may we find the courage to claim our own beauty in its unique particularity, and then to reveal it to the world, opening, unfurling, taking our place each and all among the endless forms most beautiful and wonderful of this enchanting world. Amen. And let us begin by singing together, "I Know This Rose Will Open." We're going to sing it twice. It is number 396 in the gray hymnal. When we express our faith in the blessings of this community, in our capacity to be a blessing to one another and to the wider world, by giving of our resources and by sharing of our resources, as is the tradition of this congregation to share proceeds from our collection plate. This month, the proceeds will be shared with Kids to Camp. It's an environmental justice project of First Parish, and it funds a week of camp for children and youth at the Natural Resource Trust's Sheep Pasture Nature Camp in Easton. So if you'd like to make a donation to Kids to Camp, please make your check out to First Parish and note Kids to Camp in the memo line. And thank you. The morning's offering will now be given and most gratefully received. Before I share this morning's readings, I just was looking at these photos, which you probably can't see from here. I believe they were on our altar table for Women's History Month. It's Vice President Kamala Harris and Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, and they're smiling so beautifully, adorned in the kind of outfits of their esteemed roles. And I looked over at them today and I just felt so grateful for their presence here, for giving me courage, and it seemed appropriate to acknowledge their at least photographic presence here on this Sunday when we're celebrating beauty in its many forms. And so now we'll move into our readings. And I don't know who brought them and put them up here, but if they're yours and you want them, you can take them, though I enjoy their company. Thanks, Rachel. Our first reading is a very brief one. It's the closing line from the closing statement of On the Origins of Species by Charles Darwin. There is grandeur in this view of life, with its several powers having been originally breathed into a few forms, or into one, and that whilst this planet has gone cycling on according to the fixed laws of gravity from so simple a beginning, endless forms, most beautiful and most wonderful, have been and are being evolved. And our second reading is from the poet E.E. Cummings. And they match for me. See if they match for you. This is, I thank you, God, for most this amazing day. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping, greenly spirits of trees and a blue, true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I, who have died, am alive again today, and this is the sun's birthday. This is the birthday of life and of love and wings, and of the gay, great, happening, illimitably earth. How should tasting, touching, hearing, seeing, breathing any, lifted from the know of all nothing, human merely being, doubt unimaginable you? Now the ears of my ears awake, and now the eyes of my eyes are opened. So ends our readings.
Red roses too, I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also in the faces of all the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're mostly saying, I love you. I see babies cry, I watch them grow. They're learning more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you, Tony. It's good to behold you. As a young child, I was not an outdoorsy type. My mother was always admonishing me to go outside, to soak up some sunshine and breathe the fresh air, to ride my bike or run around with the other kids. I much preferred to curl up on the living room couch with a favorite book or watch cartoons on the small TV in our quiet den. Most of all, I loved to play for hours on end with my elaborately furnished dollhouse. Just me in the sunny bedroom I shared with my younger sister Kate. Over the hardwood floors, my mom had laid a remnant of green carpet, velvety soft underfoot, the color of spring grass. She had papered the walls with a bold print of broad, checkered leaves and cheerful ladybugs. Who needed the outdoors? I thought of myself as an inside kind of girl. The ears of my ears had not yet awakened, and the eyes of my eyes had not yet opened to the endless forms most beautiful and wonderful of the natural world. Back then, I didn't even think of the outdoors in terms of nature. I associated the world beyond our screen door with the social hierarchy of the neighborhood kids. The small street where I grew up in a suburb north of Boston was lined with mature maple trees. Its 20 or so houses were small but handsome, each one charming in its own way. The home's inhabitants were middle-class white families from both professional and blue-collar backgrounds. In the 70s and early 80s, kids roamed freely through the neighborhood's backyards, waded in the small brook filled with crayfish, zoomed up and down sidewalks on Huffy and BMX bikes, and organized pickup games of wiffle ball squarely in the middle of the road. Summer nights were for elaborate games of hide-and-go-seek under the cover of darkness. Outside was the territory of the kids, and the older boys ruled. Girls were second-class citizens. The big boys lorded their strength and power over the girls and the younger kids, and especially anyone who was quiet or in some way different. They teased and taunted and occasionally got physical. My brother, Rob, was among them. The oldest of our 3 siblings, Rob was big, loud, and strong. By the time he reached 10, he was one of the neighborhood leaders. Like many big brothers in those days, he teased me relentlessly. Rob was none too happy about my arrival on the scene 2.5 years after his, and it took him a solid 2 decades to get over it. Maybe he never got over it, I'm not sure. When I stepped outside at my mother's urging, I braced myself for the possible onslaught of insults led by my brother. Look, it's Jenny the crybaby, or Jenny the loser. Who's that ugly girl, or what's that awful smell? Sometimes Rob called for a pig pile, and within moments, I'd find myself flat on the grass, stomach down, the breath knocked out of me, at the bottom of a pile of squirming bodies. When I ran back to the house in tears, the jeers followed. There goes the crybaby, back to her mummy. Sensitive and reserved by nature, I never did thicken my skin. I couldn't get myself to heed the lesson that the adults offered as a kind of armor. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you. Really? So I retreated to my room with its 2-dimensional ladybugs and checkered leaves, and to my dollhouse, a world that I controlled, where I ruled, though I like to think with a gentle hand. Fast forward, I'm 25 and newly married. Dave, my husband, and I have just purchased our first home, a real home, appointed with life-sized furniture. a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment in a repurposed textile mill on the Charles River in Medway. We are charmed by the exposed brick walls and wood-beamed ceilings, and most of all by the river views afforded from the floor-to-ceiling windows. The leaves outside those windows are real, and so are the ladybugs and the many birds who visit the feeders we have hung from our small deck on the riverbank. Our backyard is the river itself, and we explore it by way of a hand-me-down canoe. There are no kids governing or terrorizing the river's creatures. Our neighbors are great blue herons and a pair of slick, sweet river otters. My eyes are dazzled by the swoop and soar of red-tailed hawks, the red flash of blackbird wings, the fairy sparkle of flitting dragonflies, the play of light and breeze on the water's surface as the landscape changes along our journey, from woodlands to marsh to field. My ears tune to the trill of songbirds, cardinals and chickadees, titmice and sparrows, and my favorite, Carolina wrens. Released from the oppressive hierarchy of my childhood, secure in my own home, and affirmed in a marriage of equals, my spirit thus awakened to the natural world, to the universe beyond the human arranged social order. Freed in this way, I felt myself, in the words of poet E.E. Cummings, alive again today on the sun's birthday, the birthday of life and love and wings, and of the gay, great happening illimitably earth. How had I failed to notice such glorious splendor, so many dazzling creatures and landscapes and sounds, I wondered. Looking back, I think I may have an answer. I grew up in a world that tried to deny the beauty of diversity. That social world was narrow and confined. It sought to dictate right and wrong ways of being, better and worse ways of being, beautiful and ugly ways of being, strong and weak ways of being. To be young and small and vulnerable in such a world requires vigilance to survive and defense strategies. Some sought to conform, others put on a mask of indifference or a suit of metaphorical armor. Others, still like me, retreated. We hid ourselves away in a cocoon of perceived safety. From my cocoon, I could not fully take notice and stock of the world's beauty in all its many manifestations. Tucked away in the human-made world of hearth and home, comfortable as it was, I could not receive the lessons of the earth's illimitable beauty. Awakened in my young adulthood, I began to let those lessons sink in. When I beheld the beauty of the landscape and creatures around me, it eventually dawned on me that I was part of it all. A human being evolved like all the other living beings on earth, here not only to behold beauty, but also to manifest it in my own uniquely human way. I was there to grow and unfold and reveal the beauty that was mine and mine alone. And so are you. As a child, I was often called a pretty girl. By chance, I fit that bill. I met a certain culturally imposed standard. Big blue-green eyes, a slim build, a wide smile. The implication was that I should gratefully take my place on the hierarchy, not at the bottom nor at the top, somewhere tentatively in the middle. A pretty girl, a pretty white girl. Lucky me. Tucked away inside, I sensed there was another kind of beauty. Many kinds, in fact, that the social world seemed less interested in. the beauty of my thoughts, my language, the beauty of a lively intellect, the beauty of sensitive feelings that long to connect to others in intimate friendship. My beauty. It's taken me a long time to be able to name and claim my own authentic beauty. Even now, I feel sheepish. Am I being arrogant? The social order wants to keep us in our proper places. Despite this ambivalence, I'm sharing my story because the lesson I learned when I awakened to the earth's beauty is a lesson for all of us. Many of you have likely learned it already, but perhaps some of you have not. Perhaps some of you have been too hurt by an oppressive social hierarchy, or too shamed by culturally conditioned standards of perfection to shed that vigilance, to put down those defense strategies. Perhaps some of you are wearing your own armor or are tucked away in your own cocoon. I am here to say that you are a miraculous manifestation of the earth's illimitable beauty. You are here to unfold in your own beauty and to behold and celebrate the beauty of your human siblings with admiration and joy, with love and awe. We all are. The social hierarchy of my childhood is, of course, but a microcosm of the prevailing culture of supremacy and domination that continues to pervade our Western culture. We are all forced to navigate life-limiting standards of acceptability, worth, and beauty in a culture that wields intimidation and even violence to force our conformity. It can be scary to take off our masks in such a world, to step out of our armor, to allow ourselves to unfold in the full measure of our beauty and our vulnerability. But that's why we have this church and our progressive faith. Here we come to challenge that social order and to seek to undo it. Here we come to name a new social order of universal belonging, unconditional inclusion, and inherent worth and equal dignity. Here we decry the lies of a social hierarchy that would have us believe that some forms of life are more perfect, more beautiful, more deserving. Here we come to tell the truth of endless, illimitable beauty. Here we discover that the beauty that moves us to wonder and awe is not the beauty of narrow standards, but the beauty lauded by Darwin and Cummings, the beauty of infinitely unfolding possibilities, endless diversity. Here, let us celebrate bodies and beings in all shapes and shades, straight and curly, long and short, round and thin, soft and dark, tough and light, and every possibility in between. Here, let us celebrate every evolving expression of gender, culture, ethnicity, and ability. Here, let us celebrate all of the endlessly emerging gifts of creativity, ingenuity, skill, and care that we have to give. As your minister up here in this high pulpit, I have a unique vantage point from which to behold your beauty, individual and collective. And you are beautiful, my friends. I want to invite all of us to behold the beauty. So I'm going to ask, if you are joining us on Zoom, if you are so willing, I'd like to invite you to turn on your video so that we can behold your faces. And I'm going to ask Alan, who's joining us from home, to project our Zoom participants on our screen here in the sanctuary, and for Jan to pan around the sanctuary. And if you are willing to ever so briefly lower your mask so that we can share a smile with one another. And just take it in. You are beautiful. We are beautiful. And this world needs our beauty. It's why we're here. May we go forth from the comfort of this sheltering sanctuary to receive the grace of the world's beauty and to grace that same world with the beauty that is ours alone to give. And now for the beauty of song, we are going to sing number 1053 in the Teal hymnal, How Could Anyone? In closing, I have words for you from Jean Rowe. We have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who would forbid it. We are a people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. And let us sing Amen. Michael extinguishes our chalice flame, let us join in the traditional words that we end our service with each week. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Oh, Alan, can you run the sound, please? I woke up to the morning sky first. Baby blue just like we rehearsed. When I get up off of this ground, I shake the leaves back down to the brown, 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 till I'm clean. Then I walk where I'll be shaded by the trees, by a level of green, and then I go into town. I'm going to town, 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 in style, with all my favorite colors, and all my favorite colors, yes sir. My sisters and my brothers, see them like no other, all my favorite colors. It's a good day to be, a good day for me, a good day to see my favorite colors, colors. My sisters and my brothers, they see it like no other, all my favorite colors. Take me to the other side, where the bitty bitty bluebirds fly, and gray clouds, or white walls, or blue skies. We gonna fly, feel alright, and we sound like ooh, 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 yeah. We go like ooh, 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 yeah. At least I can say I anticipate a homecoming parade as we renegade in the morning. Oh yeah. With all my favorite colors, with all my favorite colors, yes ma'am. My sisters and my brothers see it like no other, all my favorite colors. And all my favorite colors, you're all my favorite colors, yes you are. My sisters and my brothers see it like no other, all my favorite colors. It's a good day to be, a good day for me, a good day to see my favorite colors, colors. My sisters and my brothers, they see it like no other.